Assalamualaikum and hi everyone. My name is Suraya binti ZAIDI from 2 PPISMT Math 1. So under subject MTES1104 Algebra, I'm going to present a topic about vectors. Vectors in physics. Alright, firstly, let's clarify what vectors are. So in physics, a vector is a mathematical quantity with both magnitude and direction. So unlike scalars, which only have magnitude, vectors encompass both aspects, making them crucial for describing quantities like velocity, force, and acceleration. So basically magnitude means the distance of vectors. Okay, so we can see from the slide a diagram which represent a vector. So we can see it has initial point, direction, magnitude, and sense. Now, let's move on to the example of vectors to make you guys understand better. Okay, imagine you're in a park and you want to describe the motion of a person walking from one point to another. Okay, so we know in physics, we have two different quantity, which is scalar quantity and vector quantity. So let me explain a little bit on what is scalar quantity based on this scenario. Okay, so suppose you want to describe how far the person walked. So you measure the distance between the starting point and the ending point. So this distance is a scalar quantity because it only has magnitude. For example, the person walked 50 meters. Okay, so now we move on to vector quantity. Okay, let's consider both the distance walked and the direction in which the person moved. So the direction can be described using a compass direction or an angle relative to a reference point. For instance, the person walked 50 meters north. Okay, from this scenario, when we combine the distance, which is magnitude, and the direction, we get a vector quantity. So in this case, the vector representing the person's motion is 50 meters north. And we can represent this vector visually using an arrow. So the length of the arrow represents the magnitude and the direction of the arrow represent the direction of motion. Alright, now let's explore how vectors are applied in physics. Okay, so one primary application is in the analysis of projectile motion. Okay, so what is projectile motion? Okay, it is a movement of an object propelled into the air, tracing a curved trajectory influenced by gravity. For example, the throw of a baseball or the firing of a cannonball. So when an object is launched into the air, it possesses both horizontal and vertical components of motion. So projectile motion can be elucidated through vector quantities including displacement, velocity, and acceleration. Okay, so now let's watch a video to make you guys understand better about what's projectile motion and what's the relationship between this and vectors. Okay, from the video, we know that displacement refers to the change in position of the object. Velocity signifies the pace at which the object's velocity modification. And these vectors have both magnitude and direction, which are crucial in comprehending the dynamics of projectile.
Hello, sorry to disturb. My name is Suraya. Can I know other than projectile motions? What's another application of vectors in physics?
Alright, to answer that question, we actually have many applications of vectors in physics. Firstly, force analysis. For example, in mechanics, vectors are used to describe gravitational forces, frictional forces, and tension forces. Other than that, we also have electric and magnetic fields. So, in electromagnetism, vectors are used to describe electric and magnetic fields. And electric field vectors represent the force experienced by charged particles. We also have astrophysics and cosmology. So in astrophysics, vectors are used to describe the motion of celestial bodies such as planets, stars, and galaxies. Now, vectors calculation in projectile motion. Okay, the question is, a projectile is launched from the origin with initial velocity and moves freely under gravity. If gravity 9.8 meter per second square, find the projectile's position vector after 5 seconds and its speed at this time. Give your answers to one decimal place. Okay, so let's answer this question together. First, we need to know what the question wants. So, the question want us to calculate the position and velocity vectors of the projectile after 5 seconds. So, we need to use the vector laws of motion. Okay, starting with the position, note that the only force acting on the projectile is gravity. So, its acceleration is negative 9.8 meter per second square. So, we need to use this formula, which is S equal to UT plus 1 over 2 AT square. So we insert the information from the question, which is 6I plus 30J times 5 minus 1 over 2 times 9.8J times 5 square. So we calculate the answer and we will get 30I plus 27.5. So right now, we know the position vector of the projectile after 5 seconds is 30I plus 27.5J. Okay, after that, we need to know the velocity. So we use this formula, which is V equal to U plus AT. And we substitute the information we get just now into the formula. So 6I plus 30J minus 99.8J times 5. So we will get the answer, which is 6I minus 19J. So recalling that the speed is the magnitude of the velocity, so the speed is V is equal to 19.9 meter per second to one decimal place. Understand? Yes. Okay, now we have come to the end of the video, which is conclusions. Okay, so after the presentation, we know that vectors serve as indispensable tools in physics, enabling us to analyze and understand various phenomena by considering both magnitude and direction, whether in studying motion, forces, or other physical quantities. Vectors provide a comprehensive framework for describing and calculating the intricacies of physical world. That's all from me. I hope you guys understand about this presentation on what is vectors in physics. Thank you so much.